Someone sent him a photograph of a dead Palestinian baby, a real child, pulled from the rubble. And they asked him a simple question: how do you sleep at night? His answer? Quite well. Thanks for the pic. That's not a tweet from a troll in a basement. That's a sitting United States congressman. That's the man representing Florida's 6th district. That is Randy Fine. And today on What If Unfiltered, we're pulling back the curtain on Randy Fine's scorecard. Citizen Governance Index, 119th Congress. And I'm going to tell you right now, the number on the page doesn't tell half the story. So stick with me, because by the end of this, you'll understand exactly how a man like this slipped in through Congress through the back door and exactly what the good people of Florida can do about it. Welcome back to What If Unfiltered. I'm Michael Breslin. This is the series where we don't take a politician's word for it. We score them. 8 pillars, 1 number, and no spin. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, because we're going through every single member of the 119th Congress, district by district and name by name. And if you want the full scorecard for Randy Fine, every metric, every source, it's waiting for you at whatifunfiltered.com. All right, let's get into it. Randy Fine, Republican, Florida's 6th district, age 51, 1 year in Congress, sworn in 2025. The next election, August of 2026. Make sure you mark that date on your calendar, because the outcome of that election will tell us everything we need to know about our morality. His Citizen Governance Index score was just a 71 out of 100. And on our Americans First test, that lands him just barely within the requires improvement zone. Not a fail, although he only missed failing by 2 points. And not even close to a pass. I guess you could say mediocre at best. He's ranked number 246 out of 538 members in the entire Congress. He's number 12 out of 30 in the Florida delegation, lower middle of the pack. Now, look, on paper, some pieces look fine, no pun intended. He shows up, his attendance score is 100, he missed only 0.3% of votes, and his fiscal integrity is an 83 because he just doesn't trade stocks. 0 trades, $0 in trade volume. And that's a real positive. And we'll give credit where credit is due. But here's where the scorecard gets honest with you, and where the man behind the scorecard gets even more honest about who he is. His legislative effectiveness score, a 46. It's in the gutter. 10 points below the House average. He's only sponsored 2 bills his entire time in Congress. 2 bills from a guy who has plenty of time, apparently, to post hashtags like #StarveAway and #blow them up, but not enough time to actually legislate for the people of Flagler, Volusia, Marion, Putnam, Lake, and St. Johns counties. Too busy trying to wipe all Palestinians and Muslims off the planet to even find time to legislate. Yet he tells us he sleeps quite well. Let that sink in. So, how does a guy like Randy Fine even get this seat? Because this actually matters. This isn't a man who was vetted in a normal election process. He didn't earn this in November with the rest of the country watching. He got in through a special election on April 1st of 2025. You see, Mike Waltz vacated the seat to become Trump's national security advisor, and Florida had to scramble to fill it. Now understand this, though. District 6 is one of the absolute reddest districts in all of America. Trump won it by 30 points, and Walz won it by 33 points just a few months earlier than Trump. So this should have been a coronation of sports, a political blowout. Instead, Fine squeaked through with just a 14-point win. Read that again. In a district carried by Trump by 30 points, Randy Fine underperformed by just more than half. And it's not like he went up against a political powerhouse either. His Democratic opponent was a public school teacher named Josh Weil. Who? Exactly. Weil outraised Fine by nearly 10-1. Even Republicans, his own party, were panicking in the final days. Why? Because they knew what was coming. They knew this is who Randy Fine is. And here's the kicker. Only about a third of voters typically show up for a special election. So a deeply underrepresented slice of that district handed him the seat. That's the back door I'm talking about. That's how a man with this kind of record ends up with a vote in the United States Congress. Now let's talk about who Randy Fine actually is, and not who his press team says he is, but let's take it directly from Randy Fine himself, in his own words. Because, look, I want to be careful here. People disagree on policy. People disagree on the Middle East. Reasonable people can land in different places. That's democracy. But that's not what this is. This is something else entirely. When a constituent sent him a photo of a murdered Palestinian baby and asked how he sleeps at night, his answer was, and I quote, "Quite well. Thanks for the pic." When 15 Palestinians, including 4 children, died of famine in a single day in Gaza, his response was, #starve away. Who cheers for children to starve? On Fox News, he suggested Gaza should be, in his words, nuked, like Japan in WW2. Once again, who cheers for nuclear wars? He's called Palestinians animals, monsters, demons that live on Earth. He said there's no such thing as an innocent Palestinian civilian. He's also called sitting members of Congress, Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, terrorists. Not opponents, not adversaries, terrorists. That's a pretty big claim. He's treated bombs away at them with a hashtag he made up for himself, the Hebrew Hammer. The dude calls himself the Hebrew Hammer. And when he served in the Florida legislature, reportedly told a member of the public wearing a kufa to enjoy your terrorist rag. And it's not just Muslims and Palestinians condemning this. Jewish organizations have publicly denounced him. The joint statement called his remarks, and I quote, abhorrent, racist, and anti-Muslim. They went on to say, his words are against our Jewish values. That's the part I want you to hear the loudest. Jewish leaders saying, not in our name, because Randy Fine wraps himself in the Jewish faith like it's armor, and then calls himself the Hebrew Hammer, while saying things that millions of decent Jewish Americans find absolutely repulsive. This isn't faith. This isn't policy. This is cruelty dressed up in a flag. Now, here's something I want to be transparent with you about. Look at his scorecard. A 71.1 requires improvement. And you might be asking, if this guy is this bad, why isn't the score lower? And that's a fair question. But here's the honest answer. First of all, let's be honest. He's only 2 points away from failing. It's not like he cleared the benchmark like jumping over trees to reach the stars. And secondly, the Citizen Governance Index measures governance. It measures whether you show up to vote. whether you trade stocks while you're sitting on a committee that regulates them, whether PAC money is buying your loyalty, whether you're filing your disclosures on time, whether your bills actually move. It doesn't measure whether you're a decent human being. It can't. No spreadsheet can. No algorithm can. That's your job. That's the job of the voter. The scorecard tells you he's a low-performing legislator who got promoted to the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Yeah, the Foreign Affairs will tell him 2 billion people to starve away. The scorecard tells you he sponsored 2 bills an entire year. The scorecard tells you he almost lost a 30-point Republican district. The rest is on us. So here's where I land this plane. And here's where I look you in the eye. If you live in Florida District 6, Flagler County, Volusia County, Marion County, Putnam County, Lake County, and parts of St. Johns County, this is your seat. This is your voice. This is your name on his nameplate, whether you voted for him or not. In 2025, only a fraction of you turned out for that special election. And that fraction handed Randy Fine the keys to Congress. And you ask yourself, you have to ask yourself, is this the best that you can do? Is this what you want representing you and your family? In 2026, you get a do-over, not a special election, not an off-month, low turnout, who's paying attention election, a primary election, August 18th, 2026, followed by a general election on November 3rd, 2026. Everybody watching, hopefully everybody voting. See, you don't have to agree with me on every issue. You don't have to be Democrat. You don't have to be Republican. You can be conservative. You can be pro-Israel. You can be everything Randy Fine claims to be and still recognize that a man who laughs at the picture of a dead baby does not belong anywhere near United States Congress. This isn't about left and right anymore. This is about decency. This is about whether the people of Florida want this man speaking for them on the floor of the House. Florida is better than Randy Fine. Flagler County is better than Randy Fine. The good people of District 6, you are better than Randy Fine. So in August and then November, show up. Bring a neighbor. Bring 3 neighbors. Make the back door that he walked through the front door he walks out of. All right. Here's what I need from you right now. 1, if this video opened your eyes, hit that like button. It costs you nothing, and it tells the algorithm to put this in front of more Floridians who need to see it. That's it. 1 click. 2, subscribe to What If Unfiltered and turn on notifications. We're doing this for every single member of Congress, every Republican, every Democrat, every independent. And we do it without favorites, without spin, just the scorecard. And if you want to know how your representative scored, we're getting to them. I promise. We will get through every single member. 3, go to whatifunfiltered.com right now. Go to the scorecard tool. Download the full Randy Fine scorecard. Print it, email it, text it to your group chat. We built this so you never have to take a politician's word for it again. We know it's all garbage. We know we can't trust them or believe them. And then 4, share this video, please, especially with somebody in District 6, especially to someone who voted in that special election, and especially with someone who didn't, Because a share from you carries so much more weight than $1 million in attack ads from a super PAC. You are the algorithm now. And 5, drop a comment below. Tell me, do you live in District 6? Did you vote in that special election? And then what's it gonna take to wake up your neighbors before November of 26? I read every comment. I respond to as many as I can. Listen, we built this scorecard because we believe accountability is nonpartisan. We score Republicans the same exact way we score Democrats. We score the people we like the same exact way we score the people we don't. That's the deal. But every now and then, the data lines up with the human being underneath it. And you get a clear, undeniable picture of someone who simply does not belong, who simply does not deserve the seat that they sit in. And Randy Fine is that picture. Florida, you don't have to live with this. This August and November, show up. And you can still vote red or blue, depending on who your favorite team is. But almost anyone is a better choice than Randy Fine. We can do better. We must do better. I'm your host. This has been What If Unfiltered. Stay curious, stay loud, and stay unfiltered.
These conversations don't end when the episode does. They carry forward into how we think, how we speak, and how we engage the world around us. Here, we don't demand agreement. We ask for honesty. We don't chase outrage. We pursue clarity. Because better questions shape better conversations, and better conversations shape better outcomes for our families, our communities, and our country. If this episode sharpened your thinking, share it, continue the conversation, and let's get unfiltered. Until next time, this is What If Unfiltered, where conviction is rooted in faith, guided by tradition, and focused on the future.